Yeah, for sure. Not even a horror film, even like normal films. I'm very animated and reactive in the theater. But A Quiet Place, I think more than getting scared by it, I was just like, when he dies, like it's a spoiler alert, but still when he dies, I was uncontrollably crying. It was too much. I think I react more to emotional things than to horror or comedy
because you become invested in those people and you kind of
And it doesn't take much for me to get invested in people, in life or in...
I was watching this interview that you did just before Ghost Stories came out, so it must have been about 10-12 days ago. It was all four of you, 4 actors from the film, and I noticed that all 3 of them, apart from you, said that they are petrified of horror films. You're the only one who actually said that you enjoy watching horror films. I was very happy because, you know, I really enjoy a good horror film. But I don't find enough people that do. Do you not get scared?
No, I get scared, but it's kind
that's
of
part
like,
of
it's fun. It's fun when after watching a really good horror film, you don't get sleep at night and you're scared to go to the bathroom. I just think it's so cool that a film can affect you like that.
Correct.
But I enjoy horror films, and also after working on Ghost Stories and then Ruh Afza, I understand so much the technicalities behind like seeing that scary ghost or the sound and everything that unfortunately I don't even enjoy it the same way. I kind of...
Correct, now you know, now you can... Yeah. But you know, I feel like horror is one of those genres that works best in a theatre when you watch it with an audience, because that whole... You know, all those strangers in one place reacting exactly the same way is unlike any other experience.
And people's reactions trigger your reactions, I think, even. And the sound is such an important...
You know, the last one for me was, I think, A Quiet Place. I remember sort of watching it in the theatre, and I remember there was someone next to me who was chewing his popcorn too loudly, and he was like, shut up, because that's the kind of movie. And then that scene, you've seen A Quiet Place, where Emily Blunt is about to step on the nail.
Oh my god.
It's like the whole
theatre together
when we're like gas. Completely, Have you had those kind of experiences? I mean, you know, that sitting in a theatre and enjoying a horror film?
Yeah, for sure. Not even a horror film, even like normal films. I'm very animated and reactive in the theatre. But A Quiet Place, I think more than getting scared by it, I was just like, when he dies, like it's a spoiler alert, but still when he dies, I was uncontrollably crying. It was too much. I think I react more to emotional things than to horror or comedy
because you become invested in those people and you kind of,
And it doesn't take much for me to get invested in people, in life or in films.
But what are your favourite scary movies? Since you are a fan of the genre, what are your favourite scary movies?
A Quiet Place definitely makes the cut.
Even though it's not our Madhumati, of course,
I love the exorcism of Emily Rose. I think that performance wasn't given enough credit. She was what she did with her body and her... I was obsessed with that performance and that film. I think the original The Exorcist as well. The Omen I was really scared of. Mom used to make me watch this really stupid film, but like it used to creep me out a lot. The Gremlins, I think. I don't even know if that counts as a horror film.
I guess if you're really young, it must be.
But it was like really creepy.
Correct. Don't feed them at night. Don't. And
then like those like really cheesy Chucky the
Chucky
the doll.
Child's Play. Correct. Child's Play.
Those were creepy.
But have you seen a ghost? Do you believe in ghosts? Have you had those? Have you had those experiences? Have you seen something that that one cannot explain by logic or science?
So on the sets of Ruh Afza, whatever it's going to be called.
That's your horror comedy.
My horror comedy. My first day of the Manali sked, there was a scene where I was lifting off a food from the ground. And it was an insert shot of just my hand. So I picked up a piece of bread and it was out of frame. And then another piece of bread has levitated and then fallen back on the floor. I swear to God, sir, it's on camera, it's recorded. And I went back, because I said this in so many ghost story interviews, I went to Maddock that day. I was like, वो footage है ना, क्योंकि लोग सोचेंगे मैं ऐसे I was like, ये release करना है ये footage. So everyone was like, what the hell? Because like, I was so far away from the bread, there was nothing that could have possibly, just flew and fell.
That's a bit scary.
And then I had to eat that piece of bread in the next shot. It was traumatic.
But you know, the scary movie that you made with Zoya, which is a part of Ghost Stories, of course, is your classic horror. When you were reading that script, or when Zoya gave you the first narration, did you know where it was going? Could you sort of sense what was going to happen?
Honestly, yeah, because
it is classic horror, right?
it is classic horror. I kind of had a sense of where it was going. In the middle, I kind of thought the boyfriend and the treatment of it, I thought maybe people would think that he's the son.
Right.
But I kind of figured where it was going. Also, like, I play this game with myself every time I watch films or I'm in narrations. I always like predict the end.
Right.
And I like to test myself to see if I was correct or not. And I was quite on point with it.
Nice. You know, in the film, of course, you play the temporary nurse who comes to this home, this old dilapidated home, for this older woman who's just recovering from a paralytic stroke, who's just had a paralytic stroke. You know, I thought you were very good in the role. I thought there was an unshowiness to the performance. I thought it was very natural. I also liked the little things, you know, the accent, the hair, and there was a lot going on. I felt like you know, this is a woman who, there's not a lot we know about her apart from the fact that she's I feel like now we can talk about it. It's been on Netflix for some time. She's an orphan, but I enjoyed that the relationship she has with this man. She wants him to commit entirely, but he's obviously married. You know, she even is sort of committed to that older woman, even though she's having that tryst. She's called the boyfriend over, but
her moral compass isn't completely broken.
Exactly. That's right. There's not a lot that we know about her apart from what the film tells us. Was that enough for you to work on the character, or was there a backstory that was given to you, even if we don't necessarily see it?
Yeah, there was a full backstory. Zoya gave me a 5-page backstory before we started the film. And it was very exact, where she was left off, where she was probably picked up from, the environment she grew up in, where she met Guddu for the first time, how many times they must have been out on dates, where she was working, for all of those details.
Wow.
And I found it so interesting because it's never mentioned in the film, but it kind of, I think, for an actor creates a well for you to like dig out from. It just makes it more real in your head. Like you immediately know how to say this line because you know the baggage that it comes with.
Correct.
Yeah.
What was it like sort of preparing for that role? What was your preparation?
So I had, I think, 10 days between the second sked of Gunjan, between the third sked of Gunjan and the second sked of Ruafza that we fit this in.
Wow.
So, and like my dialects and my body language are very like different in all of these films. So it was honestly a blur. But I had Zoya ma'am with me. I don't know why I'm saying, every time I do a serious interview I say Zoya ma'am, but otherwise I call her Zoya.
Okay.
I had her with me and she was so encouraging and supportive, and she has so much clarity of what she wants and how she wants it that I was just like, you know, I'll do whatever you tell me. So I just relied on her completely.
Also, you worked with Surekha Sikri, who is what, 75, I think.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, wasn't she just recovering from her own stroke?
And you won't believe it, sir. I think that's the power of cinema, and that's the power of doing something that you're passionate about. I feel like we saw her get better as shoot progressed.
Wow.
I feel like performing does that to an actor. It rejuvenates you. Yeah, but she's a force of nature. Whatever condition she was in, she was there throughout, through the costume trials, and she had like some prosthetic work, and that's not easy to sit through that, and she did it. And yeah, she was like, no, let me do one more. And she was picking up on things that I didn't even think that other people on set, like I did my scene and I walked away normally, I thought, and then she called me and she's just like, what you're doing with your body, I like it, it's very good, special. I was like, how did you even notice that? I thought you were lying down on the bed. But yeah, she's so attentive and she's so alert, and she has the most powerful eyes, I think. To be able to share scenes with her was, I think, a blessing.
What for you were the larger themes of that film? I mean, on the surface, of course, it's a horror film. It's a scary movie. But what for you were the larger themes?
I think abandonment is a big theme, and the fear of aging, the horror of aging, I think, and also I think wanting to be loved, waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting was a huge theme. I think both the women in this film are stuck in a loop of just waiting.
Yeah. It's almost as if she's sort of telling your character,
yeah, it's almost
don't
like
waste
a
your life.
what,
waiting for someone to.
Yeah, it's quite tragic actually.
It is. I mean, was this the right? Because it's been over a year since the first film came out, Dhadak. Do you feel like this was the right one? The performance kind of part right after.
So I don't know. I honestly didn't look at it like that. I think people wanted me to look at it like that. So many people asked me if it was a career move, and so many people told me not to do a Netflix short.
Right.
And how I didn't need to because I have 3 feature films releasing this year. But I don't know how to look at things like that.
Yeah.
I feel
and you shouldn't. You're right. You go by gut, right?
Yeah, and maybe it might not serve me. I hope not, but maybe I learned from it. But I think, and I actually saw Kareena say this in your interview, and I resonated with it so much. She said that I approach every opportunity from the point of view of, am I going to learn from this?
Right.
And I think that's how I looked at it. To get an opportunity to work with Zoya.
She's just wonderful.
Yeah,
isn't she?
I was like, forget everything. I want to do it. I just want to learn, and whatever learning I can take from it, I can use in the projects that I'm doing. So I really just looked at it like that. And Surekha ma'am and even Vijay,
who's so good.
He's so easy in front of the camera.
Yeah,
I was like, this is my experimental thing that I'm doing on the side, a workshop, and then so that's how I looked at it.
You recently shared a few pictures on Instagram from the completion of your film Gunjan Saxena, the Kargil girl. You of course play the first female Indian Air Force pilot, Gunjan Saxena, who flew into combat zone and rescued injured passengers during the Kargil war. You wrote in the post, I don't think there will ever be a process as pure, honest, adventurous and memorable as this one. What made this such a special experience?
So I signed the film, I think Dhadak hadn't even released then. But we spent a lot of time in the prep of the film. So I've seen the script through every stage. I've spent so much time with Gunjan ma'am and her family and her father and with the entire team of the... I don't even know how to explain it. It's so weird talking about it. Yesterday I did the making of interviews for Gunjan. And there's so much... I think when I started the film, to be very honest, I lacked a lot of self-belief. I think my self-esteem was low. I was really questioning if I was even capable of being in this industry and all of those things.
You've gone through that, yeah?
Yeah, and I think through the story, to see Gunjan ma'am's journey and her belief in herself and how she triumphed and survived and just put her head down and kept working, I think it made me believe in myself in a large way. So yeah, I think that was my takeaway from it. It was definitely a huge... And I got to do things that I'd never get to do in my life. I got to fly a chopper.
Right. Did you fly it yourself?
I flew it myself. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I had a pilot with me, Francesco, whose helicopter it was. But I ended up spending so many hours in the chopper that he was like, you know what to do, so I'm going to hand over the controls, and a few of the sequences were... So
did that scare you? I mean, I would be petrified if I wasn't fully trained and to be given, that in my hand. I mean,
But sir, before we shot all of the aerial stuff, I spent a year before that shooting for the film. And almost every day I was saying things like, "Mujhe udna hai, mujhe pilot bana hai, mujhe udna hai." And even though the dialogues in the film, you believe it somewhere.
So it felt like it was the...
And then when I finally sat in the chopper, people are everyone in the team was getting teary-eyed.
Away, I would imagine.
No, but they were getting teary-eyed. I was getting emotional because even they heard me say pilot bana hai. So yeah, it was a very emotional journey. The team, I think the intention with which we made the film is very, very pure, and I think all credit goes to Sharan. And I think Gunjan ma'am, the kind of person she is.
So. Does it make you anxious? And I wonder whether you think like that. Your face is on that poster. Yours is the only face on that poster. Does that make you anxious? Does that make you nervous? It's only your second film.
Yeah, and now it does. Now that you said it like that.
No pressure.
But, so I don't know how to think like this. I think it might be one of my biggest flaws. And in hindsight, I've thought of it so much that maybe before Dhadak even released, I should have chased other films, so I didn't have such a... Like I told you, people come up to me and say, "Gym looks बहुत अच्छे हैं आपके." I said, "मैं gym looks के लिए यहाँ नहीं आई हूँ, मैं actor भी
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
But I really don't know how to think like this. I just loved the film. I had to be a part of it.
I mean, it's a great opportunity,
yeah.
but it's also a huge responsibility.
But
right?
you know, sir, I feel like after playing a character who I think that, you know, sometimes in a story you're playing a part of the puzzle, and then sometimes the story is following your journey and your narrative.
Correct.
And I think that gives the actor a lot of luxury to explain beats. Like, I think audiences find it easier to connect with you.
Right.
And also the director gives you a lot more attention. Screenplay gives you a lot more attention.
Yeah.
And I think it spoilt me a little bit, because then from that to go back to something that maybe doesn't give you so much importance.
Correct. To be part of an ensemble.
Yeah, like on Gunjan, I think I'm in every shot of the film, almost every shot of the film. So, like, lunch break on set was a luxury.
Correct.
And then now on set, when I'm waiting for my shot, kisi aur ka shot chal raha hai, it's like, it's very weird for me.
But you know, Janhvi, from a business point of view, and you're a producer's daughter, so I'm going to ask you that. Does it kind of...
Aayenge nepotism comments.
No, but you know, the fact that they're marketing the film with your face on that poster. Of course, the story is the star. It's the story which is this huge, inspiring story. But on the poster, you're selling that film. Does that make you nervous so early on in your career?
Now it makes me nervous after you've said it, but I think I have a lot of belief in the story, and you know, I think I have realistic ambitions for the film.
Right.
I don't think I'm expecting like unreal numbers or anything. I think because I'm a producer's daughter, I know like I have a ballpark estimate of like the most optimistic outcome for the film, but really, I just want the story to reach as many people as possible. I don't think the agenda was ever for it to be some sort of blockbuster,
sure.
But I think there's a lot of belief in the story. It just happens to be that I'm the protagonist, and I think that's very secondary.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, your sister Khushi has been away studying acting in America. What do you feel like you're going to? I mean, it's no secret that she wants to that the love is acting is the love, and that she wants to join the business. What are you going to say to her, or what do you think you have to sort of give her to prepare her for this job, which now you've done? You've made the debut. You've had a little bit of experience. It is, of course, great privilege, and you've acknowledged that, and she's acknowledged that, and you know, there will probably be a great opportunity, but there's also going to be the incessant trolling. What do you tend to tell her to prepare her for this experience? That is, of course, one learns from their own experience, but how do you tend to protect her from what she may be unprepared for?
I think she's much more thick-skinned than I am.
Okay.
I think even in this scenario, she protects me a little bit from it. But I think one of the biggest learnings that I've had in the limited time I've spent in the industry is that at every given point of time, there are enough people that will tell you enough to make you believe that you're amazing.
Right.
And there are enough people that will say enough to make you feel that you're completely worthless. So you need to somewhere not be delusional, I think. And I think that, I don't know about other things, but I think that's something that I have figured out. Like, I know where I stand, I know my shortcomings, I know my potential, and I know where I am in the scheme of things and where I can go and want to go and all of those things. So, yeah, I think that's one thing I would want to tell her.
Have you become thick-skinned about comments about privilege and nepotism? Are you able to sort of take in your stride? Because I see that doesn't end.
But I think it's the acceptance of knowing that it won't end, more than being thick-skinned about it. You know, so at the start I was very, you know how I said that I was very low on esteem and all of those things? I really believed that there are so many people out there that are dying for this opportunity, and I got it. And am I forcing myself down people's throats just because I love this so much? Like, am I really worthy of being here? And I was really like down and out about it. I was very like, oh God. But that was such a stupid mindset to go into because I have it now. I might as well give it my everything. And even if that's not enough, I'll find ways to do more.
Right.
Because that's how
But
much
do
I
you
love
see
it.
that as a responsibility? Do you see the privilege as a responsibility? That it comes with a responsibility?
Of course, yeah. Of course. Like you need to acknowledge that there are people out there that might not even get the opportunity to audition.
Right.
Let alone get the film. And you're here living your dream. And they're going to be watching you thinking that मैं ये कर सकती थी या मैं ये कर सकता था, इसे क्यों chance मिला सिर्फ क्योंकि ये इसकी बेटी है.
Right.
It's a very I think you need to acknowledge that and you need to be understanding. But I think I should just be thankful and use it to my benefit because I'm getting to fly helicopters and work with Pankaj Tripathi and sit on like Rajiv Masan's round table. So it's exciting. I might as well. I need to make the most of it.
Right. When you're not at the gym, of course.
Gym, yeah.
Because it does feel like the last year.
I'm only been going to the gym. That's all I do.
Thank God for the PAPs because that's all we're seeing. In fact, most recently, I saw that Sarah and you went to have breakfast right after the gym.
Yeah.
But you all didn't pose together even though they were begging you all to take a picture together.
But you know, I find it funny when you're going to the gym, you're going for breakfast, you're going grocery shopping. How does one pose outside? Like, how do you do that?
Posed individually, I think. I think they really wanted.
I think I don't know.
You were just like.
I think it was a friendly wave. I don't think it was a pose. Yeah, I think I'm still very awkward about the whole PAP thing. But
you're polite. You seem to be like, you don't like yell at them.
Of course not. It's a big deal. I don't understand why anyone would want to see me in my gym shorts going to the gym every day. The fact that anyone comes to click it and then opens it on their social media in the morning to see it and then likes it also is baffling to me.
The only other place you have been spotted most frequently is this restaurant in Bandra, and we've spoken about it. Remember, I asked you why do you go to that place most often?
I stopped though.
I noticed actually, yes.
Because it's like, you know, at least in the gym you're thinking, अच्छा शायद ये role के लिए prep करिए, Bastion में क्या करें?
And Manish Malhotra's house. That's the other.
That also like costume trials could be possible, but no, I swear I'm doing more with my life. I've been shooting non-stop for the past year. It's just that I'm very Also, a lot of these films have required me to move my weight around and be a certain type of physicality, although I've been looking the same in all of the pictures. So I've been regular with the gym, but I've also been working. I've been shooting almost every day of the last year.
The one you've been shooting lately is Dostana 2.
Yeah.
For which, of course, I mean, that's now that is, you're just supposed to look like really glamorous, I would imagine, right?
So it's shocking to me, you don't understand, because Ruhi Afza, Ru Afza, whatever. And Gunjan and even Ghost Stories were shot like in a khichdi together, and they were a completely different world from each other and from Dostana. And over here, when they say final checks, touch up ke liye jao, someone's dabbing my sweat away, someone's putting color on my lips, and I was like, it's honestly a shock. मतलब हड्डियाँ नहीं टूट रही, पसीना नहीं बह रहा.
So that's when you felt like the Dharma heroine.
या खून नहीं बह रहा. मुझे समझ में ऐसे भी films बनते हैं. It was honestly, I think my soul needed it, but it's a lot of fun shooting this film.
You know what a lot of people I've noticed don't know about you is that you're quite the student of cinema, because we've had these chats, haven't we? We're talking about and food, but we'll come to that in a minute. You recommended some great places in Lucknow to me. No, but films. I mean, I noticed that you're watching. And you know, this shouldn't even be like something to pat an actor on the back, because you'd think that all actors should, but it's shocking how many actors don't watch films. You watch all the Hindi films, I notice. You're in touch with what's going on in Hollywood, and also a lot of the South films. We've chatted about our love for Mahanati.
Yeah, obsession for Mahanati. And was that the question?
No, I noticed recently you took a picture with you put up a picture with Rinku Rajguru, which of course is that connection with Sairat and Dhadak, of course. Kirti Suresh is a friend of yours, so you kind of know what's going on. You're watching a lot of films,
yeah, for sure. And
I know you watch the classics, which I speak to young actors and no one has.
But sir, I think they were much ahead of whatever we're doing now also. But I'm a huge fan of Rinku and of Kirti especially.
I don't know both of them, but Kirti.
I don't know how many times I've seen Mahanati, and
what a film that is.
I think I like called her up crying. I don't know what I did, but like it's a genuine love that I have for her. I think what she did in that film was amazing, and I think a lot of regional work in general that's not necessarily mainstream is churning out so much amazing work and performances, because I don't think they have the pressure of commercials as much. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, not the way, because the stakes are not that high.
Yeah.
But you know, your mum did so much work in Tamil and Telugu films. Is that something that that sort of interests you? I mean,
oh, it's a dream. I really want to work in a South.
And your dad's producing so many.
Yeah, and you know, my playlist on my phone is mostly South music. I'm obsessed with. I think the music is amazing, and it's honestly a dream of mine to be in like a Mani Ratnam film with like no makeup, like a white choli, like dancing in a waterfall to this Rahman soundtrack. Yeah, that's how. Honestly, that's been a dream, and working in an Imtiaz Ali film have been like. When I said mujhe actress banna hai, these were the two visuals that I had in my head.
But can you speak Tamil? Can you?
No.
But you learn, right?
I learn, and I can understand, and also I've heard mom speak it so much, and I hear so much music. I think phonetically it won't be tough for me to. I mean, I'm saying it now, but right. I don't think
you'll face it when you get to that. But was it your mum who sort of introduced you to? I mean, did she tell you that? That cinema is important, that watching films is important if you want to be an actor? Is that something you just felt it was?
I think it was just a byproduct of like my dad's profession and my mom's profession, and I think they were so deeply conditioned by cinema that it was, oh, we're all free today, what do we do? Let's put on a film and watch it. Like that was our pastime. And then there was obviously going to be a discussion about, acha, ye moment dekha. Like I remember we were watching some Audrey Hepburn film, and I was really young, and I remember Papa saying, "Ek baar bhi camera ke liye perform nahi kiya." She's not even giving facing, but she's living it, and that it got stuck in my head. And every time we'd watch a film to act cool with my friends, I'd be like, "Ek time bhi camera ke liye facing nahi diya." She's so natural.
So you were passing those on.
Yeah, I'd sound like junior Mr. Masan with my friends.
But you always wanted to be an actress, right? I mean, have I told you the story that your mom told me? She said your dad was saying, no, be a doctor, be a doctor.
I don't know why they wanted me to be a doctor.
You remember what you said to your dad?
I'll play a doctor's role in a film.
You had it all set.
Yeah.
You were quite clear that you wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know what strikes me the most is as shy and as reserved as your mom was, you're sort of that happy to engage and bubbly, you know? I mean, very
but that's now. I was very. I don't know if you remember me during Dhadak promotions. I was very, very timid and very.
But I felt like that was just the the pressure of the
I think it was also the time, and it was weird because it was like, if on a day I felt comfortable enough to talk, it was like, oh, she's so casual. And if like I was going through something and I was reserved, then it was like, oh my God, she doesn't care and she's stuck up. So it was a bad phase. But anyway.
Finally, Janhvi, about a year and a half in, what is how do you feel? Do you feel like you're part of this now? Of course, you've been a part of the industry because you've been born into it. But how do you look at the past year, the year and a half since the movie came out, since you've been actively working?
I honestly feel like I'm about to make my debut again. I feel like
so much time has passed.
Yeah. But and so the thing is, it's kind of daunting. I've done so much work that the audience hasn't seen.
Right.
So
but does that make you impatient as well?
It makes me impatient. Also because after Dhadak came, it was honestly a divided house. It was a divided house on me at least, and I kind of appreciate that. I feel like maybe I would have gotten too complacent if it was like an out and out, oh my God, yeah, she's alive. Right. It's really made me, and I think I was realistic. I think after seeing the film, I knew what I needed to work on and what I had going for me. And so reflecting on that, I think I've gone about these projects that I've shot for. So now I want to know how the audience reacts to that so I can work on myself for the rest of the films. But I think that there are so many films that I'm already shooting that it makes me nervous that I'm going into it without knowing how the audiences have reacted to the work that I've done already. Like, I think I finished 3 films that no one has seen.
Correct. And you soon will start, I think next month you start on Takht, don't you? The big one, the Karan Johar film where you're like, half the industry's in the film, of course.
Yeah.
Is that nervous, exciting?
I'm just excited because I've been such a fan of, not a fan, but an admirer of that period in history. And I've loved films like Umrao Jaan, Pakiza, Mughal-e-Azam. Like, I've been obsessed with it.
Yeah, I've heard you say this, yeah.
Yeah, I remember I auditioned for a film once, and they said, okay, just dance. And then I played Aiye Meherban, and I played Aaj Jaane Ki Zid Na Karo, and I just like, it was the most fun I've had to be able to do that.
You audition? They make you audition?
Yeah, sometimes. I didn't get
Did you get it?
No, I didn't get it.
Okay.
I auditioned for something else and I got it though. But yeah, that I didn't get. I looked too baby-faced, or at least that's what they told me.
I can't wait to see what you've got. You've got, like you said, you've got, this is going to be a big year. There's going to be, what, 3 releases this year?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All the best, no pressure. Looking forward to seeing. I thought with Ghost Stories, you really gave a sense of what you can do. The range, I think, between Dhadak and Ghost Stories, there's already, a glimpse of the range, and can't wait to see lots more as the next one come out. Thank you. All the best. Thank you.